Alrighty, welcome back everybody. What we're going to do is put the wax on our panel. So in the previous video, I showed you how to mount your photograph to your wood panel. And now I'm going to show you how I do my wax. What I do is not exactly photo encaustic. What I'm doing is there's texture in the photographs or the illustrations or whatever that I do. One of my things that I do as part of my creative process is put texture in the photograph in Photoshop. And by using this texture, what I'm trying to do is create a physical layer on top of the image for the final piece that works with the image and the texture that I've put in the image. The texture is fairly light in this image, so it's kind of difficult to see. But what I'm trying to do is create a physical representation of texture that goes on top of the photograph. So it's not really photo encaustic as much as it is a veneer or a patina maybe. But it's just kind of a finishing thing that I do. There are several ways that you can do photo encaustics, and I'll get to those with another piece. So what I do is I like to just brush my wax on, and I get it kind of thick and heavy. And I'm not very careful with it. And what I like to do also is I use these very inexpensive horsehair brushes. And the reason being is I want these brushes to fall apart while I'm using them. Because then you get a little bit of this organic thing going on within the wax, and it really kind of helps out everything. So I got a little speck in there that I don't want. Okay, so I've got plenty of wax on here for what I'm looking to do. And as you can see, it's making this a little cloudy. And I'm not really interested in obscuring so much of the photograph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a heat gun. I use a Ryobi heat gun. And you can get it from Home Depot, Lowe's, something like that. It's about 50 bucks. And this is a variable temperature heat gun. So I can go 200 degrees to 1050 degrees. I need to get something to prop this up with. I'll just use this can. If it's tall enough. It's not tall enough. Okay. Okay, so turn the heat gun on. Now, what I'll do is I'll use my brush, and I'll work this wax off. You need to be very careful when using your heat gun, because you can blister your photograph, and then you're completely starting over, and you don't want to do that. You just want to heat it up, loosen it up. So basically, I'm going to keep all this stuff that's going on the outside, because it's not distracting from the actual image. But I'm going to clean up the key element or elements that are in the image. And in this case, it's just a headshot. I'm just using this get rid of the excess wax. Now, you could leave it like this. You could do something like this. And leave it where when it cools, it's kind of got a smoothness to it. You can totally do that. What I like to do is give it a lot of texture. And it just takes some manipulation. And going over it multiple times. Usually, not always, but usually. And I use a side-to-side motion, like this. And then up and down. And what that's going to give me is like a linen look. And by using this brush like this, it's going to give me a matte finish and not a shiny finish. What you can do is, instead of giving it a texture, you can pull it up and or pour it straight on, and then do thin coats and layer it, and then use the heat gun to fuse those different layers together. And since it'll dry smoother, you can let it cool, and then you can actually kind of buff it up a little bit. So this piece is done. You just got to sit and relax. And then that's it. So thanks. That's how I do my wax process on a photograph. It's very quick. And again, what I'm trying to do is work with the textures that are already in the photograph that I've put in Photoshop to give it a physical representation or an extension of the photograph. So it has a different dynamic than just being a standard photograph mounted to a wood panel. I hope this helped. Happy creating, and I'll see you later.